What's up, guys? Welcome back for another one. Today's product that we're reviewing is the Carpuride W702 portable navigation screen. And in a nutshell, it's a 7-inch navigation screen that you can run Android Auto or Apple CarPlay on your motorcycles. Now, to give you a little backstory, I've seen a ton of reviews on this device and similar ones, but mostly in the ADV community. So I was thinking, how come we're not running this on our Sportsters, on our Softails, on our Road Kings, or any other motorcycle that doesn't come with a navigation screen in it? Because the rest of us have to rely on our phones, and if you know anything about phone mounts on your motorcycles, there is an inherent risk. I've lost phones that have popped off my mounts. I have had phones damaged from the vibration, from the handlebars. So the convenience is there, yes, but is there an inherent risk? Of course. With this, it mitigates some of that, and it gives you a bigger display, easier to see, and more features. So full disclosure, after watching all those videos on the Carpuride 702, I was the one who reached out to Carpuride and expressed an interest to test this device on my Harley Davidson motorcycles. And to be honest, at first, they had a little bit of reluctance because apparently whoever tried previously had trouble getting it to work. So I basically came out and said, if I can't get it to work, I'll be more than happy to pay the full price for the unit. No questions asked. So they did send it to me free to review, but I can promise you that my thoughts and opinions on this device and how it works on my Harley Davidsons are my own and are as honest as they can possibly be. With that being said, let's jump back into the video. As far as the specs are concerned, this is a 7-inch display that's also IP67 waterproof, which is why it's probably so popular amongst the ADV riders. It comes with the ball mount already in the rear. It has a slot for a TF card. If you want to play some media off your device, you can do that. Supports wireless, which is good for the Apple CarPlay, and Bluetooth for the Android Auto. As I said earlier, the fact that you can run this off USB power was the most attractive thing to me. Now, there is a caveat to that because I do have a 22 Street Bob, and if you have a M8 Softail, I believe most of them have the USB port in the front. This device does not get enough amps, I believe, from that port in order to power this unit. But that's okay. You can either run the hardwire to the battery using the hardwire harness, or what I did was I bought one of these. And I bought this on Amazon, and it's simply an SAE connector. So this plugs into your battery tender port on the left side behind the panel of your motorcycle, if we're talking Harley Davidson. And you have a USB port on this side. Now, this is a little fancier one because it has the USB-C along with the USB port and an on and off switch. But there's a ton of different models you can find on Amazon. This is less than $20, and you're just gonna run it from that battery tender port up to the front of your motorcycle, strap this down somewhere. I'll show you what it looks like on my motorcycle in a second. And then on your Softail, you will have enough power to run this unit. Also, my other motorcycle is a Road King, and I needed one of these anyway, so I already have one of these on my Road King, and it does work with this unit flawlessly. To make the connection, you're just gonna plug this guy in, and you're gonna tighten this down. And again, this is a waterproof connection here. So the unit is waterproof. The only other caveat to running the USB is it's only as waterproof as where you're plugging this in. So keep that in mind when you're placing this SAE to USB connector somewhere on your motorcycle. You want to have it somewhere where it's sort of protected from the elements, at least as much as possible. So I'm just going to plug this in here and show you how it boots up. Once power is connected, the unit will power right up, and you will get to this standard home screen before it jumps into Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. I already have this connected to my phone for Android Auto, so it does take a few seconds, but eventually you'll see the Android Auto screen load right up. And there you go. And now you can select on your map somewhere where you want to go. You can listen to music if your headphones are connected, and all the other standard features that you would have if you have a vehicle that's running Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. So let me get out of this. Let me go back to the main screen here and show you what your options are. And this is pretty neat here. So you have a few things you can do here. First, you can connect your device. You basically go here and you connect it via Bluetooth. And what I've done is I've used this Play Audio, and this just basically lets the comm unit of your headset control everything. So the unit here is connected to your phone, but the phone is sending the audio to your Cardo or your Senna or whatever helmet communicator that you have. So that's how that's set up, because in watching a lot of these older videos, using the Bluetooth, some people experience sound issues, sound quality issues. Doing it this way, it makes it much easier. You have full control. You can change tracks. You can make calls, using your verbal commands through your comm set, and this just works flawlessly with it. So you have a few other options in here. One, you actually have an EQ to adjust your sound levels. It does come with a couple of presets. And you have your brightness here, which will allow you to manually make your screen brighter and darker. And we'll get into the pros and cons of all of this later. And here, if I go back to the main screen here, this little guy here just allows you to change the backgrounds of this particular part of the system itself. So again, once you're connected, it's going to automatically jump into Android Auto or Apple CarPlay depending on what phone you're using. So let's go over to the bike. I'll show you how I have this connected to my Street Bob, and we'll take it for a spin. So on the installation side, if you're running a Harley Davidson, your SAE connector or your battery tender connector is typically behind this. Sometimes it's sticking out on the side, and really, like I said, you're just plugging one in there, and you're just gonna follow the best way to get the wire to the front of your motorcycle, depending on which motorcycle you have. For me, with this fairing I was able to bring it all the way up to the front, and here's the other end of that SAE USB adapter. So here I have a power button right here. I can turn this thing on and off. Tells me the voltage of my battery, and I have two USB ports on this particular one. So I basically just plug it in, tuck this bad boy in there, and be on my way. As far as the RAM mount options, this is just what I have in-house between all my GoPro accessories and everything else that uses the RAM mount system here. I have the handlebar mount here. This is just an extension, a couple of pieces here. They sell so many variety pieces that you can make this work on any motorcycle. You just gotta figure it out what works best for your motorcycle. So from here, I'll just take that little ball mount that's on the back of the unit itself, tighten it down, and I'll have my display right in front. So like I said earlier, once you have your wire run, and whether you use the SAE to USB like I'm using, or you used a hard wire, once you have it run up to the front and you set up your RAM mount the way you want it, it's just as easy as hooking up the RAM ball, setting the device to whatever height, distance, whatever is good for you on your current motorcycle. And then you just plug in the USB cord. Make sure your wires are in a tight, secure location where they won't get caught up anywhere. And then you're just pretty much good to go. Turn on your unit when you start your bike, set your destination, turn on your music, and now you have Android Auto, Apple CarPlay right on your motorcycle. So who is this unit really for? Well, to me, it's for the person who has their motorcycle as their main form of transportation. I think they would definitely benefit from this unit. Also, anybody with multiple motorcycles,
especially those who put a lot of miles on their bikes and go for long trips. There's so much to like about a unit like this, and at a price of under $300, it really can't be beat.
One of the good things about the unit is that it works great with all kinds of gloves, even my rain gloves, which speaks to the sensitivity of the screen on this unit. Having the ball socket on the back of the unit really gives you the flexibility you need to mount this thing anywhere on your motorcycle, as you can tap into the various ball mount fittings that you can find online to really dial in the mounting location on your motorcycle. Now, this unit is not without its quirks. For example, I would have liked to see this unit come with an auto dimming backlight. The brightness settings that work during the day may be too bright for you to use at night, which in turn requires you to exit Android Auto or Apple CarPlay to access the brightness settings. Along those same lines, I noticed the unit did not pick up on my dark mode settings for the navigation screen, regardless of my phone and Android Auto settings, but perhaps I just need a little more time with it to dive deeper into the settings. All in all, I think this unit works great. It's easy to install and just as easy to move from one bike to another. I highly recommend this to anyone looking to add the ability to run Android Auto or Apple CarPlay on their motorcycle. I'll leave a description below along with a discount code towards your purchase. And as always, consider liking and subscribing, and I'll catch you on the next one.